All right, welcome everybody to the show. How's it going this evening? Got a couple of topics to go over. I am simultaneously streaming both on YouTube and DLive. I would appreciate the viewership over on DLive. I decided to multi-stream just because, most people know the YouTube channel and YouTube notifications, so that'll help get people in. I'm going to post the link in the YouTube chat in case anybody has an account there and would prefer to follow there. But for the time being, I will just continue to multi-stream. So right off the bat, the main topic of the evening is one that you may be aware of. Kotaku, once again, Kotaku UK to be specific, has decided to drum up some more pointless controversy, that is, for clicks. And, I understand that giving them attention, in a sense, is what they want. But that's why we have things like archive links, so that we can give them as little clicks as possible and still talk about the stupidity that they perpetuate on a daily basis. But they're always digging for something. And this latest one is quite hilarious. I talked about it on Twitter, I guess at length, as far as Twitter goes, yesterday. But I figured it would be fun to cover it on a stream and just kind of go over it again for anybody that doesn't follow me on Twitter, because I realize I have a lot more of a following on here than I do on the Twitter account. So what we have here is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's Persona 5 DLC, and the claim was that, well, it included a disability slur. Now, what do you think a disability slur is? Well, they claim that the word retard is in one of the songs. But we'll read through the article, and if you've noticed, it's by a person that some of you may be aware of, Laura Kate Dale, who is not exactly who they portray themselves to be. This is the person who claimed they were hurt when, back when there was the controversy around the CoxCon, where Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox, they kicked out a person during a Q&A for asking the ultimate offensive question, are traps gay? Yeah, that'll get you banned. You can't say that. You can't ask that. And by the way, the answer is yes for all eternity, yes without exception. So let's read through it. Then I'll go to some of the posts that I made regarding it, some of the fallout. Autist Whisperer, which is also a disability slur. No, we'll get to that, the gag order thing as well. I do have a post pulled up for that also. So it's coming. I think this topic is probably going to be the majority of the show. I don't know how fast I'm going to get through it, but I also have a Niche Gamer article that kind of goes through this person's history and sort of displays what kind of individual that we're dealing with here and why you should take, everything they do with a grain of salt. So let's first check out the first article, because there is an apology follow-up. Surprise. Earlier today, an update to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate brought the game up to version 3.0 and brought with it several big changes. Players can now create and share custom stages online, and DLC Pack 1 arrived, adding Persona 5 protagonist Joker to the game. Part of the DLC Pack's edition includes a number of Persona music tracks, which can be listened to in full outside of battle. However, one of these tracks caught our attention for all the wrong reasons. Hey, Drum Boy, I see you over there on DLive. Thanks for coming. In the track, Wake up, get out there. If you skip to around 148 into the track, you'll reach a section of the song where words are softly spoken rather than sung. At around 158, it appears the term retarded is used, and followed up by the assertion that I can say it. Now, this is amazing. The official lyrics for the song, curiously enough, does not include this spoken word section. This is our transcription of what's said. So, right there off the bat, these aren't the official lyrics. This is not official by any means. This is just somebody who decided to listen to the song at a part that isn't apparently not documented in the official lyrics. And they just said, hey, here's my transcript. Here's exactly what was said. I'm just going to run with this. Doesn't matter if I'm mishearing. And you have to keep in mind that this is a Japanese video game. So Japanese music, Japanese artist, vocalist. If you listen to Japanese music in any capacity, whether it's J-pop, J-rock, the occasional anime song, whatever, you know that sometimes they use English words. Thank you, Crushinator. Appreciate that. And hopefully you can catch the archive sometime. So their pronunciation of English, most of them don't have a fluent command of the English language, and therefore their accent tends to seep through when they try to pronounce our words, okay? And here this person just wants to say, oh, well, the song says retarded, it's offensive. All right, so, hi, are you ready? Ready to pick up the pieces? Let's go, let's play. Retarded, I can say it. Are you ready? Uh-huh. Does that even make sense? I mean, I understand that sometimes when Japanese artists use English in their songs, that at times it can be a bit nonsensical, but this just feels extremely off-putting, and it doesn't make sense even when you try to put it into context. Now, there were people saying, like, okay, they're actually saying retort it or restart it, things that would make a little bit more sense. One person even said that, from what I recall, it said wreak havoc, which they said, oh, that kind of fits because it's a song for the Joker or whatever. Now, I haven't played Persona 5 yet, so I don't know, what music belongs to what character or whatever. That's just what I had read. So they provide a link to the song. I listened to it a couple of times, and it's one of those things where the music is very prominent. The instrumental is very prominent over the spoken word. So the vocals are secondary. They're layered into the background. You can't really, without a doubt, make out that they're saying this, and they just ran with the article. So let me continue on. The term retarded is considered a slur against people with mental disabilities. Yeah, but it also has another use, which, context and all that be damned. It doesn't matter because they said it's offensive, and that's all there is to it, right? It has been commonly used as a pejorative term to diminish the capabilities of those with certain mental health conditions, and is widely accepted as a term which should not be used in English-speaking parts of the world. It's almost like this is a game that was from Japan. And by the way, you can say retarded, you can say retard. Most people that use the word, they're not talking about people with actual mental disabilities. They're talking about people who are quote-unquote normal, who act as though they're mentally stunted. It's an insult, okay? It's not meant to diminish an actual disability. Now, can you say nobody's ever used the word that way? Of course not. Somebody out there has done it. But that's not the point. You could argue that about any word that could be deemed offensive. And to say, like, oh, well, it's offensive, so we can't use it, or somebody might be harmed by the use of this, so therefore you can't use it, is absurd, because you could twist any word to be used in that manner. Needless to say, this does not exactly fit Nintendo's family-friendly image, nor seem an especially appropriate inclusion in a game with a 12 rating, or indeed any game, because none of us knew the word retard at age 12, no. That's probably one of the first... I'm going to say that's probably one of the first, like, quote-unquote bad words that kids learn to use. You know, idiot, stupid, moron, retard, dumbass. It's pretty basic. It's like a level 1 insult. It's before you've moved up the ladder to shit or fuck. It's down there. As well as that odd detail of the official lyrics, not including this section of the song, it's also the case that another version of this theme, which features in Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, removes this section entirely. So they're trying to say that because the spoken word section isn't featured in one section of the game, that somehow justifies the assumption. Hey, Blasto. Hey, Dusty. I'm guessing they're saying retarget. That would also make sense. Yeah, you know, I'm not sure. I don't think there's been an official confirmation. As far as I know, the only official confirmation had just said that isn't the word that they used. They didn't clarify what it was. But we'll get to that a little bit later. So you'll note at the bottom of this article, we have reached out to both Nintendo and Persona 5's European publisher, Deep Silver, for comment, and we'll update this article with any response. Now, I know none of us are journalists, at least to my knowledge, but do you see anything wrong with that? I mean, here's a person who clearly wrote this with the intention of, you know, creating a controversy by pointing out what they found to be an offensive term used in a song. But rather than confirming with the publisher or Nintendo first, they just ran with the article. They decided to post it. It's like, oh, well, I can just correct myself later. Do you know how ridiculous that is? To try to do something that, you know, obviously in this current sort of social climate that we're in, where people go and dig up any little thing to, quote-unquote, cancel you, how damaging it could be to, you know, a brand or a company to, you know, make some sort of accusation like this and, you know, create a bunch of outrage without even confirming that this is actually what has been said. And I said this yesterday, but even if the song said, you know, retarded, or you're a retard, or whatever, I can say it. What right do you have to try to, you know, play this moral arbiter where you get to control what words people use in their art, in song lyrics? Does that not bother anybody? Does nobody see that, you know, that's sort of a dangerous precedent to set, where somebody could just claim, oh, this thing is harming me, therefore it must go away, or therefore these people must answer for their crimes? It's not a crime. Think about, for example, rap music, okay? Now, these people are bitching about slurs, yet in that particular genre of music, quote-unquote slurs are used rather liberally, which I'm not against. I don't care. You know, say whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just pointing out that if you were going after music for being offensive, why wouldn't you start there? And none of this is actually about genuine outrage. First of all, this particular writer has some sort of personal vendetta against Atlas because of transgender portrayal. And on top of that, it's clearly to drum up attention, drum up clicks, drum up this controversy so that they get more clicks. Because as we know, this is what these people thrive on. Most people don't respect Kotaku. They think that these outlets are just rags, and they prove it time and time again by publishing garbage like this. Let's move on to... All right, so I did a couple of responses here, but here's Laura's post. Smash Bros. Ultimate, yeah, that's just the... But then after the reaction, okay? We have contacted all parties involved for comment. If an official comment shows this is incorrect, I will of course issue a retraction and apology, which wouldn't be necessary if you just followed up with them first. You'd say, oh, I discovered this email and sit on your ass and wait for that response because you're supposed to have journalistic integrity. Update added to the story, should hopefully be live soon. A lot of Persona fans are insisting the lyrics are retorted or retardendo, a musical term. We've listened again and still don't quite hear it that way, but thought we'd update to allow that there may be an innocent explanation and we're simply dealing with an unfortunate sound-alike. Imagine that taking this attitude, rather than just saying, you know what, we were wrong. We fucked up. We jump to conclusions because that's what we're good at. But no. They continue. We have been having issues with our tech infrastructure today, so the update as well as the updated title are struggling to go live. I've done all I can to try and update the article to reflect the state of this discussion. A discussion that was just manufactured by these people, that wouldn't have existed, that most likely would have gone under the radar, without incident. People would just be enjoying their Persona DLC. Drumboy, thank you for the lemon donation. I really appreciate that. Wow, a whole 20... Wow, we're still going up. I'm being barraged by lemons. I don't know if you can't see it if you're over on YouTube, but I'm feeling the lemonade in my future. All right, so... I cracked a joke about the alternate headline, privileged white man demands Japanese pronounce English words perfectly so they won't be mistaken for slurs, which I thought was very fitting, because, that's the take that had anybody other than Kotaku, and if they had maybe targeted any other type of culture besides Japanese, they would probably make a headline like this. Let me just find my next part here. Okay, so that's where I cut that. I posted in regards to the reaction. That's out of order. That is also out of order. I should have prepared better. Okay, here we go. So next, this is my favorite part. So their whole sort of business model when it comes to these people is, make outrageous claim, be completely wrong, get barraged by corrections and call-outs, and then what do? You play the victim. You apologize, but you make it sound like you're the one being harmed in this situation. I'm going offline for a while. Don't know when I'll be back. Sorry, everyone. Hope everyone does okay. Because, I'm not. I'm being corrected on the internet for my stupidity, so I have to run away now. Then there's more damage control. I know, I'm sorry. These are replies to other people that, I just screenshotted this person's replies. The posts aren't important. They're just kind of like, hey, you did a dumb thing here. I know, I'm sorry. I wish I could undo this. Please trust me that I'm stuck. I hate myself so much right now. Believe me, you don't have to tell me I'm wrong. I know, I'm sorry. I wish I could undo everything. I'm sorry. I'm in a situation where I'm not allowed to address so much of what is being said. I'm sorry I disappointed you. Yes, you were right. Yes, I wish I handled it differently. Yes, I wish I could explain those issues. Yes, I wish I could undo this. Trust me, I wish those things more than anything. It's so dramatic, okay? It's not that big of a world-ending incident. You said something stupid. You wrote a stupid article. You used your job to kind of go in on your personal vendetta with the company because you don't like the way that they portrayed some transgender person in a different game. I think it was Catherine the person had a problem with. Unfortunately, I forgot to pull up those posts, but maybe they'll be featured in one of the other things that I have here. And I really feel like it's a misuse of power. Yeah, Laura Kate Dale is a man, by the way. Yep, we are certainly aware of that because they're not fooling anybody with that appearance. Yes, I know that's very offensive to point out that the person could never possibly pass, but hey, that's the reality we're living in, and we don't have to pretend things for the sake of others. But I really hate this. I hate when people... It's like, okay, if you're going to apologize, just say, I made the mistake. I did wrong. I know I did wrong. You don't have to throw in this whole, I throw myself upon the mercy of the court. I'm so sorry because now I hate myself. It's like you're trying to get sympathy and make yourself out to be some sort of victim when you're the one that started the whole entire issue. This never would have happened if you just didn't post the article. And we'll move on to we screwed up. Here's the next one. We screwed up with that Persona lyric. And that came fast. Now this is by Rich Stanton. The name sounds very familiar. I feel like this might have been one of the guys during the whole Gamergate It is. It's this guy that during the whole Gamergate situation, he was kind of like threatening to fight people IRL. And this was this badass looking, sunglasses wearing character. But then if you saw his actual photo, he looked like he took soy intravenously. It's just amazing. It's like fantasy, reality, complete mismatch. But anyway, so they don't even get the original writer to, make the apology. And this is what we're left with. Yesterday, we published an article about the inclusion of a Persona 5 song in the latest Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC. Now look, the word inclusion. You think that inclusion, that's one of their buzzwords. You'd think that's a good thing, according to them. But no. Several readers had contacted us about a lyric that appeared to be a disability slur, so they claim. And on listening to the section in question, this appeared plausible. If you're mentally retarded, maybe. What was even more confusing is that this spoken word section was omitted from the official lyrics. Oh, well, I can't imagine why. We never see that where songs have like a main set of lyrics and that's what's shared in the booklet, and sometimes they don't include it if there's like a spoken word section. I've definitely encountered that before just in music in general. We contacted Atlas and Nintendo for comment before publication, but we published the article before a response was received, and as the subsequent fallout has shown, that was a mistake. Now, I'm not an editor, I'm not a journalist, and I could have told you that that was a mistake. How hard do these people think that their job actually is? All they have to do is sit on their butt, play some video games, write about said video game. But no. Instead of doing that, they want to get on a high horse and pretend that they are so much more important than they actually are, and have to create these controversies, these social injustices that video games are inflicting upon us, and they just have to be battled against because they are the heroes of this generation. They're going to set right what is wrong. The word is retard. The magic word is retard, which, as far as we know, wasn't even in the song. Many of you have suggested alternative readings for the lyric, from retarded to retardendo to retarded, with retard in this context being a technical musical term. We asked both Nintendo for an official transcription of the lyric and for an explanation as to why this section of the song is omitted from the official lyric transcription. We've now received the following reply. We checked with Atlas, who confirmed that the actual lyrics of the song do not include the word retarded. And that's the only statement they got. I kind of like that. Short and sweet. To be honest, maybe this is just me kind of in dick mode because of what they pulled here, but if I were them, I kind of would have just replied with, who cares? Like, it's a video game. It's a song. Who cares what it says? Does it matter? What's going to happen if it does actually say that? Are you going to cancel Nintendo? You going to cancel Atlas? You going to ban Smash Brothers? Who gives a fuck? Frustratingly, this does not clear up the confusion over what the singer is actually saying. But here's the thing. Nobody is pretending to be confused by this except for you. And you're claiming that these anonymous sources, they contacted us with the concern that the word might be a slur. I'd love to see those emails, because at this point, I don't believe you. There's not an honest bone in the bodies of these people. They live for this stuff. And the most amazing part about it, to me, is that it always backfires. It's always so obvious to me that it's going to backfire. I see it, and I'm like, wait, whoop, stop. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because this is going to blow up. And then they do it anyway, and it explodes almost instantaneously. It's pathetic. absolutely pathetic. How do you do this time and time again? And that's what almost leads me to believe that they do these things on purpose. They know full well, because how could you not? They know full well the type of response they're going to get to these things, but I think they do it just for the sake of drawing attention to themselves. That's how desperate they are at this point. Because yeah, they'll still have their little echo chamber shielding them that they're in the right. And oh, Kotaku, you're so stunning and brave for standing up for the marginalized woman or whatever. But the people with brains, the people with the capacity to formulate their own thoughts, just look at this and they're shaking their heads and they're like, what are you doing? How is this? What era do we live in where this is a concern? A lyric, a throwaway spoken word lyric in a song on a soundtrack full of other songs, and you find this one little thing that you can nitpick. It has nothing to do with gameplay. It has nothing to do with the quality of the product. And yet, this is what they focus on. Clickbait journalism, exactly. But we accept that this article was a mistake. Publish in haste, as they say, and repent at leisure. We would like to apologize to Atlas, Nintendo, and the many Persona fans who were angry about this piece. It looks like we got it wrong. We screwed up. Sorry. And don't you just love that? These are the type of people that will tell others how to apologize. For example, if somebody says, I'm sorry if you were hurt by this, their defense or their criticism of that apology, they always say, well, you didn't apologize good enough because you just said, oh, I'm sorry you were offended, rather than saying, I'm sorry for the hurt I've caused. So they're doing the same thing that they accuse others of, but somehow it's okay. It's okay when I do it. That's the slogan of these types of people. Finally, the original has been updated to reflect this statement and link back to this apology. Now, wait till we get to the last paragraph, because this is funny. However, we've recently been making back-end improvements to our site, and an unfortunate consequence is a new problem where updates are taking quite a while to appear. Oh, well, haven't you just entered an age of oppression? We will quash this gremlin, but until then, the site is slow to update. This has been the subject of conspiracy theories. Some of you simply demand that we delete the article. Kotaku UK does not delete articles. On the internet, what would be the point anyway? We admit our mistakes, own them, and update the original to reflect new information. The original article has now been updated, but, as we say, it may take a while before it shows. We hold our hands up with this one. You deserve better, and we'll strive to do better. Well, you know what I think? I don't think the fact that they're leaving the article up is about any sort of shred of journalistic integrity of, oh, we stand by the mistake that we made and we're not going to run from it, we're going to face the music. What they've done here is they're leaving it up because they know that some people aren't going to use archive links, and they're still going to have a chance to get a ton of clicks off of this controversy that they've created out of nothing. And that's why I'd rather talk about this on a stream like this, because I know my audience is rather small in comparison to others, but it kind of it gets the broadcast out there, and it deters people from clicking on this shit and buying into it. It's very obvious to me why they've left this up. And I think a lot of people will see right through that. What do we have? Okay, so next we're going to move on to... We're still on topic here, but we have more information. Looks like Kotaku's throwing Laura under the bus. I don't feel bad, given, as I spell out in my article, she's a genuinely bad journalist with hugely questionable ethics. Okay, so this is the Niche Gamer writer, and we'll look at the article, but let's look at what Laura said here. Comment I posted elsewhere. I'm in a shitty situation. I'm banned from publicly responding. Trust me, I know this looks fucking bad. I'm in a no-win situation. I love Kinda Funny. Please don't make me feel like I have to flee this group too. I'm sorry. See, more victimhood. Drum up that I feel so bad that now I'm emotionally distressed. Hey all, yes, I'm a member here. Time to say what my boss has forbidden me to say on Twitter. We received an email from a disabled gamer who highlighted this word appearing to be in this song. I fucking doubt it. I honestly doubt that any person with an actual disability contacted these losers and tried to blow this up. I don't believe that for an instant. And even if where's the proof? Like, they took the time to screenshot Nintendo's response or whatever, right? Or post Nintendo's response. Why don't you screenshot the supposed email that exists that you got? I don't believe it until I see it. And even if I see it, it would have to be in a very particular manner where it would be obvious that they didn't just go and create it themselves. Because these people are liars. They're capable of any kind of douchebaggery to cover up their own BS. So what they're doing here is using people, using this imaginary concept of this disabled gamer who was just sitting at home listening to Persona music when suddenly they were blown away by the fact that a slur might have been in a song. They literally shook. They couldn't control themselves, literally shaking, crying onto the keyboard, tears, as they typed away at Kotaku. Hurry, Kotaku, help me. The slurs. I don't know. I can't make it. Can't make it on my own. I mean, come on. Who's buying this? So it looks like blame is just being shifted back and forth. I listened and could certainly hear what was suggested, so I asked my boss for his opinion. He ran with it, insisted it was 100% this, told me to write it up. My initial draft was lots of appears to be statements. It was a call to discussion, a far less certain piece. Even if that's the case, still absolutely wrong. Wrong. I don't care if you preface with, oh, this is what it seems to be. Bullshit. You know what you're trying to do. And again, if you had a shred of journalistic integrity, what you would do is contact the companies and then wait. My boss took out all the seems to be statements and set it to live prior to me hearing back from my comment requests. I wanted to wait. It was already after 6 p.m. on Thursday, pre-bank holiday. We were not going to get a reply from PR until at least Tuesday. He knows this. I specifically said to my boss I didn't want to publish until that issue was fixed, in case we got a comment from the publishers but could not update the post to include their response. This doesn't make this person look any better by any means, because they would still be putting up something that was completely wrong and making an accusation without getting the confirmation. It doesn't help that you update it later. The original claim is put out there. Do you know how many people, or how I should say, when you first post an article, right, and then you make an update later, what do you think happens? Not as many people ever see the update as those who read the initial post. That just doesn't happen. That's why retractions are best left avoided if possible. Once it went up and the backlash happened, I tried to explain some of these facts. As if this person knows anything about facts. I got an email from my boss saying I was throwing him under a bus, and making the site look bad. I was ordered by my boss to delete my tweets and not defend myself any further. In short, I wrote something questioning about a lyric that sounded bad. The boss ignored my warning, made it definitive, won't let me walk it back or say anything, and I'm just stuck taking the blame for things I'm not allowed to correct in an article my boss altered, pushed out, and doesn't have to take any flack for. Are we supposed to feel bad for you? Because, honestly, I don't. You did something dumb, and even if you want to claim that your boss is to accurate, is the one that took out these clarifying statements that supposedly existed, it doesn't help your case, because you still thought it was a good idea to run this without, oh man. There's just no thought put into this. I feel like it's very easy to say this after the fact. I hope this is true. LKD is a giant piece of shit, and I wish him all the worst. It's absurd to me. All right. There was one. Okay, this is a comment from the very apology post we were just on, and this is something that consistently drives me insane. From what I know, Laura's pretty darn great. Apparently, that means you don't know much. She doesn't deserve hate directed at her, and I'm sure that's worse because of her belonging to a marginalized community. I'm also 3,000% for diligence in ensuring we respect marginalized people. That statement right there always drives me nuts. Because it's like, oh, well, now because I can just say, oh, this person is in a marginalized community, therefore anything they experience is automatically way worse than anything that anybody else ever experiences. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. If I said something stupid on the internet and people started wishing me death and, calling me a retard and all this other shit, it's no different than when it happens to this imaginary, marginalized group of people. It's the same exact thing. You did something dumb. It has nothing to do with your stupid made-up identity and everything to do with the fact that you did something dumb. I'm so tired of these pussies enabling this fantasy rule set where we somehow have to wear kid gloves depending on the identity of the person regardless of what they've done. That's not how reality works, and I, for one, am not going to play this game with you. And I guess that, to me, I don't see the... First of all, ignoring the fact that I completely disagree with the concept of this marginalized community crap, this person is in no way marginalized. They have a cushy job, and whether or not you want to argue it pays enough or whatever, it's still a job that's rather easy. Play video games, write about video games, get paid, profit. Okay? Even if it doesn't pay that much, it's still a pretty easy, cushy position to be in that most people don't get to do. You get to make your hobby your job, okay? And that's always a one-up over, the person that has to work some minimum wage gig or something like that, right? And then they have, in addition to, the cushy position, they write it on a platform that gets tons of attention, whether it's warranted or not, or whether it's out of, sheer hatred for the platform or not. So this person has a voice, okay? People hear them. People see what they say. Their opinions are held up to some in a higher regard simply by the extension of the fact that they're called a journalist or a game journalist or whatever, right? I mean, I know me and probably a bunch of people here have absolutely no respect for the term, but there are people who look to these writers for their opinions. So are we going to pretend that they're just out of the conversation? Are we going to pretend that Kotaku, if you're a writer for Kotaku, it's somehow equivalent to me streaming here to 37 people? Of course it's not. That's absurd. By their logic, I'm in a marginalized community because I don't have as many listeners, right? Is that how this works? Again, you're not marginalized. That is a shield from, criticism and mockery for when you do something stupid. You don't get special treatment if what you want is equality. And of course, that goes into the whole thing that they don't actually want equality. They're looking for special treatment. And let's be real. They want all these special rules that some people have to follow and others never have to follow, all on the basis of where you fall on this imaginary oppression stack. It's complete and utter bullshit. And I, for one, am fed up not only with the people that pull the card, but those who enable it, those who pretend they're doing the best for, the marginalized people. They're helping the oppressed by enabling them to do whatever they want and shutting others down by claiming they're bigots or whatever stupid nonsense buzzword of the week they want to use to demonize anybody that has a thought that diverges from the bullshit that they spout on a regular basis. So let's get to the Niche Gamer article. It's a somewhat lengthy piece, maybe. I'm not sure I want to read the whole entire thing because, well, it just feels a little bit like lifting the story. I kind of wanted to give like a good. We don't need to go through the story again. We know what happened, right? Taking time offline. Oh, see, here's a bunch of stupid shit. Like, there's a history of all this complaints about harassment. In 2013, Laura Kay claimed she was completely dehumanized on stage during a live Xbox One event in London, claiming that comedian Fraser Millward referred to her as he, this one, it, and thing, or as Laura phrased it in a tweet, I was he, it, thing, and this one. I was on stage, and they still insist we need a woman on stage. Any women here? Well, I mean, can you really argue with that? I mean, is this? Are we really going? Are we really in a world we're going to pretend that everybody actually believes that this is a woman? Like, what fantasy world have I fallen into where people actually they really think this? I'm sorry, that's just not. It's not reasonable. It's not reality. Let's see. None of that happened. So the whole thing was made up. Fraser Millward at one point had referred to her as this person, something Laura deemed as misgendering, ignoring that this person is gender neutral, which they always love to push gender neutral terms, and a phrase countless people use for a variety of reasons. Laura took it as an attack, imagine my shock, then made up that he had also called her it, he, and thing, and slandered him online. She later retracted her claims in a joint statement with Fraser. Interesting. Whole event was eventually swept under the rug, and Laura was able to continue her track towards becoming a game journalist. It's almost like these so-called marginalized people can get away with making outrageous claims and still find their little careers. Isn't that something? Let me reiterate here. Laura Kay Dale blatantly lied about being called he, thing, and it. Nowhere did that happen, and she had to retract it a handful of years later, and she now writes for Kotaku. Let that sink in. So I think you guys are pointing out the whole pronoun game that's being played here, and I think I might have closed it. Shit, yeah. I closed it, but I think that the person who wrote this, they may be transgender as well. So there might be a level of automatic defense there. Okay, so then, making everything yet even more absurd is that the above might not even be the craziest lie. During E3 2016, she claimed to have almost been kidnapped, something she would elaborate on during Jim Sterling's podcast, of course, Jim Sterling. As the story goes, during the week of E3, she got an Uber from a hotel, and what should have been a 10-minute ride lasted much longer than that when the driver of her car passed her hotel and then hit a button to say he dropped her off, only to keep driving while she was trapped in the backseat of the vehicle. Because, if you're going to kidnap somebody, you obviously want to kidnap somebody who's the most obnoxious person on the planet. That's how you want to go about this, right? And that looks like a freaking... I don't even know. What is this? I guess that what I'm saying here is it's very problematic. I'll have to, throw myself upon the altar of social justice and take my lashings later. How dare I not automatically believe somebody that claimed to be a victim, even though they've lied about being a victim before? Let's see. Then driver, she claims, stayed silent, ignored requests to stop. He eventually drove her to another town 30 minutes away south of her destination, where at a set of stoplights, she jumped out of the vehicle and ran away. Oddly, during this time, there's no mention of her trying to phone the police, or anyone, for that matter. Naturally, you, the reader, must be asking if this happened clearly. She filed a police report afterwards, right? Nope. Because as strange as it is, she didn't want to deal with the police. Apparently, there's a Twitter status for this. Okay. Had a driver pass my place, hit button. Just kept driving. What in the fuck? No, none of this is even remotely okay. Shut up, Will. Just shut up, you soy-infested prick. Yeah, it was pretty terrifying. Reported driver, but not dealt with police, as did not want to deal with. Huh. You know, this would be the easiest police report ever, okay? Uber has the driver's information. You hand over the report, you file the report, Uber hands over the driver on a silver platter, and you've got yourself an arrest if a kidnapping took place. Are you kidding me? Oh, and you know, this is those situations where people just trip over themselves to excuse the fact that they didn't go to the police. And then they have the gall to complain about unreported incidents of, you know, things like sexual assault. Well, gee, maybe if the people that were experiencing them reported them to the police, there'd be a chance for the person to be caught. I'm not saying the system is perfect, but if you don't even fucking file, there's no chance that the person that, you know, committed a crime against you is going to be tried for it. Or arrested, or anything for that matter. Use common sense, people. But no, we've gone full retard, full irony intended there, and just have devolved to the point of, oh, this person said, you know, this person I don't know on the internet said this thing happened, so it definitely happened. That's where we're at. We manifest reality with the power of social media. Let's see. Wouldn't provide proof as she's fed up with backseat advice and demands for evidence. Of course. That's always, I'm just fed up with backseat advice and demands for evidence of something I just want to get to ask. Maybe they meant get past. Yeah, okay, I roll emoji times 999 squared. Okay, one of her excuses for not involving the police is because shortly after E3, she got gender reassignment surgery. So maybe she was too busy at the dilation station to, too busy at the dilation station to file a police report. You know, that takes time. Definitely takes time. You got to make sure that your holes stay open. That's important. I mean, you paid all that money on somebody else's dime. So you got to make sure, you know, you don't want that to close up. Wouldn't have to run another GoFundMe after all. She wouldn't have to deal from the experience from there. A surgery that was crowdfunded on GoFundMe. I wonder if this is still up. It must be still up, right? £23,110. Unbelievable. You know, I think I'm just going to be transgender. I think I'm just going to be like, I need my gender reassignment surgery. Can you please pay for it? I can't do it. I'm having a nightmare of a time collecting the money myself. Just please, 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 I can't live like this anymore. And watch the money pour in. Because that seems to be the way to just get people to throw money at you. I mean, why not, right? Let's see. A factoid that isn't strange. Okay, whatever. I don't care about that. This is stupid. Things I learned from Mario's butt. A series of gaming butt critiques. You ever notice that these people always display the weirdest fucking, like, fetishy shit? Last year, she raised funds for a book she's writing called Things I Learned from Mario's Butt, a project that was conveniently boosted by major websites such as IGN. Again, imagine my shock. The incestuous relationships with marginalized people continue. Oh, I'm so marginalized, but yet I have the biggest gaming websites all pushing my bullshit. To which, in an article about ethics, I must bring up that one of the people contributing to the book is Zoe Quinn, a person who had raised over $85,000 for her very own Kickstarter. Game that is yet to materialize. Well, you know, 'cause she was busy vacationing in Japan and shit like that. I mean, who has time to make good on the games they collected fucking money for? 85,000K. Who has time? Who has the time? Naturally, journalists have yet to ask questions as where that game is. Yep, of course. You know, they're never going to question her. She's the eternal victim, so that's never going to happen. Apparently once raised thousands for an unnamed homeless man. That doesn't sound suspicious at all. Money to help move, money to help her sister move, and has a Patreon. This is some bullshit about being offended by gender swap art for Dream Daddy. Who the fuck cares? That's another petty thing that, you know, this person has done. This is absolutely crazy to me. So yeah, this is where we're at. This is the person that, that wants to write these stupid articles and then play victim about it. That's not even, I don't know, there's just something wrong with this world. What has happened? Drumboy says maybe the driver was a black transgender woman and she/it didn't report it because of white privilege. That must be it. That must be what happened. Oh, Scratch, can you play the Soy Boy Star Wars reaction? I know what you're talking about. I was actually... Oh, shit. I meant to grab an article. I thought that there was an article about that because it had been just another thing that, on the internet that got blown out of proportion. I don't know if I'm going to play the whole video. Maybe we'll take a quick look at it, and I'll see if I can grab the article, or maybe if somebody has a link to the article or something, we'll take a look at it. But yeah, this is the situation. That's what's going on with Kotaku and this Laura Dale person that we're supposed to pretend, is something they're not, and that has this shady past. I can't imagine, a normal person getting away with this at all. Let me see what else I pulled up. Oh, so I was just trolling them a little after they posted their outrage and fucking apology. The best part of Final Fantasy VII is clearly when Tifa says, "Would you stop acting like a retard and climb?" to Barrett on the staircase in the Shinra building. Any SJW would get away with this, to be honest. Yeah, it's like if you have the right politics, that's pretty much what gives you the leeway to get away with shit like this. I also found that Squaresoft in the 90s was just, not at all pandering to the sensibilities here. In Acelus's game and file in Saga Frontier, or Quest rather, there is a monster in this point where it says, "What are you, a retard? There's nothing to do in this stinking place." Yeah, if you sneak in the back, this is one of my favorite. This is like unironically one of my favorite parts in the game. It's just extremely humorous to me. So yeah, those were just two examples of games not giving a shit where they actually said retard. When is the remake coming? Who knows? Retard only got deemed unacceptable around 2008, 2009. Well, yeah, it keeps shifting. They keep moving the fucking, I guess the window of acceptability over. Before long, we're not going to be able to say anything. Everything will be offensive. We'll all have to speak to each other in a series of gestures and grunts, as all words will be deemed offensive. We'll go back to like the Stone Age or something, except we'll all be using social media and smartphones. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this topic. There's a few others. Let me see how we're doing for time. Not too bad. Okay. This one's a quick one, but equally stupid. Where, let's see, Lupin III, the creator of the manga anime series, died. Monkey Punch. I forgot what his real name is. Obviously, that's not it. But anyway, this person, of course, had to. There's always someone that has to find a reason why what happened is a good thing. You can't just let the person go gracefully. There has to be somebody that creates outrage. Hey, so Lupin the Third creator Monkey Punch died. Before you grieve, heads up. He was a massive misogynist creep who continually objected to the animated depiction of his character because the real Lupin would rape more. His words. Fuck that guy. Glad he's dead. Judging by my mentions, I'm pissing off all the rape people. It's so nice. I rarely get to upset bigots in the way I'd like. I think, hey, I'm a rape victim, and I think dismissive jokes about rape rule is an all-time most disingenuous thing someone has said to me. Ha 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 ha. So this person, not only do they want... Honestly, I don't even know if this author said that. I'm sure there's some sort of contextual warping here that there always is. But even if he did say it, That's punishable by death? That's where we're at? That's the line? We're going to execute a man for saying the wrong thing? Come on. Come on. And then they always take this smug, oh, people are getting mad at me, so clearly I've done something right. That's not even remotely true. I mean, look, obviously there's a certain satisfaction that comes with pissing off morons, but in this case, you're the moron. And you're also the bigot, because you're the one being intolerant of speech that you don't like. And this last thing is the most insane to me, because this is the type of group of people that, you know, always say these things like, oh, it's not for you to decide how a victim deals with their trauma. But as soon as one of these so-called victims comes along and says, hey, I joke about this shit all the time and that happened to me, all of a sudden, their victim card gets torn up, burned, pissed out, and they're done. Their opinion is no longer valid. They're victiming wrong. That's how that works, right? It's all about conforming to the right opinion. All about that. They don't even understand that it's not identity-based the way that they portray it. They think it's identity-based, but it's actually ideological. So yeah, now thought crimes, word crimes, thought crimes, it's punishable by death. That's totally a good direction for society to move in. Nothing crazy about that. Nothing to see here, folks. What else do we got? Oh, this is great. I wasn't even really going to pull this one up because it's so silly, but I guess it's sort of in the same vein of stupidity. If you decline your pre-order for Mortal Kombat 11 for them covering the female characters with more clothes, then you suck and you aren't a true fan. Hashtag Mortal Kombat 11. I hope the NetherRealms folks liked that post for you. Maybe they'll text you back. Come on now. I am sick of this. Honestly, I don't care about the whole true fan thing. That's just, say whatever you want. You think that somehow other people aren't true fans and you're the one true fan for, blindly accepting anything a company throws at you. Okay. I mean, if that's what makes you feel better in life, and you don't realize that you're just a corporate sheep, mindless drone that will, consume, throw your paycheck away, throw mom's credit card number out the window, all because you need to buy the latest game, no matter how stupid the company is. And I think at this point, if you want to argue about true fans, the company themselves isn't even sticking to the original spirit of the product. They have come out and specifically said that the reason that they're doing this, that covering the female characters, is to be respectful to society, to women and society and the Me Too movement. I mean, come on now. That's not an artistic change. That's not like an organic thing where the guys were like, hey, you know what? Let's mix it up. Let's change the female characters' outfits. No, it's blatant. It's social pressure. It's ideological nonsense that has no place in this sort of circle. Because fiction has absolutely nothing to do with your stupid real-world crusades. But these people, they always go for the easy victories because that's all they can ever accomplish. They always go with oh, I'm gonna censor this in a video game to to spite the bigots, because there's nothing they can do in the real world. There's no change that they can enact that would actually accomplish something of value for society. Canceled my order for MK11 because of them covering the females. I say good. And you know what? To me, it's it's not even about just covering the women. If they did something, for example, say they removed all the gore, I think it's valid to cancel your pre-order, to say, you know what, this is not the game series that I support. I don't want to put my money towards this because I want to show the company that this isn't what I purchased Mortal Kombat for. And that's a good thing. That's really the only way that a company kind of gets the message and understands that, hey, you know what? game didn't sell very well. Maybe we should examine that and see what people are saying, see if there's a reason for that, what changes we can make to do better the next time around. Some people were joking that the game is going to do so poorly that they're going to end up patching in as DLC, like the outfits, which I think would be bullshit. Even if they do that, they're not fixing it because they're going to make you pay for extra content. So fuck them. They've already screwed up beyond repair. The only way that this would be fixed is if they patched it in for free as an update. And even then, I would be wary because they have demonstrated that they care more about this weird ideological pandering as opposed to, kind of supporting the fan base that has supported them. Let me just see. Oh shit, I clicked away from the thing. Oh, you clicked... I clicked the link, but it accidentally took me away from my window of chat, so... Remember the video Midway made for Jade for a Game Girl contest? Gotta love how these people are perfectly fine with the extreme amount of violence in a game like Mortal Kombat, but not tits and ass. Yeah, that's the thing that always gets me. It makes absolutely no sense to get outraged over clothing when you have people tearing each other to pieces. Like, what are you doing? Does that even make sense? Of course it doesn't make sense. How are you going to say that, like, brutal murder is somehow less bad than bare flesh? Absurdity. What else do we got? Oh, this one was crazy too. I saw this. Let's see. Yeah, I saw this a few days ago. I was gonna reply to it on Twitter, but then I was like, oh, you can't reason with these. They're just psychotic. They're always going to find some crazy ass shit to draw attention to themselves. And I guess we're giving it to them. This is crazy, though. At some point, I'm just like, is this real? Is this a person just trying to drum up outrage? Like, is this parody? I don't know. But then you look at the blogger, or the blogger. Yeah, it says blogger. I meant bio. Then you look at the bio, and you see maybe this nut job is for real. Maybe they really believe crazy shit like this. So let's read the thread. Ladies, if you want to date an ugly man, make sure you remind him of his unattractiveness before he gets too confident. Let him be a little insecure so that he'll overcompensate in other areas such as money, affection, or sex. But please, y'all need to stop reproducing with ugly men. This is disturbing. First of all, it's advocating for emotional abuse. I was going to reply to this with some sort of, parody version that's like, men, if you want to date a woman, a previously fat woman, make sure you remind her that she used to be fat. Never let her get too confident. Keep her in that fat girl mindset. And that way she'll never realize that, she's become better looking as a result. Because that's like the equivalent. They would claim that that's abuse. And, it is. You're beating down somebody's self-esteem for your benefit. And that's like, I would argue that most people who are quote-unquote unattractive are more often than not aware of that fact. And I think they would already be overcompensating to, sort of compete with those that are deemed more attractive than them. That's why you have all of these guys that are like, they know they're not quite the best looking. They don't really, or maybe they just don't think too much of themselves in general. So they'll fawn hand over foot over these e-girls, throw money at them, build them up, tell them how attractive they are all the time, and suck up to them like they can do no wrong. It doesn't do them any good, but they think that that's how they're going to keep up with the guys that, are able to get that attention without going to that length. Now, you could just have a person who may not be the most attractive physically, but is just a genuinely nice person. That's a thing that exists. I don't think it requires emotional abuse to get that type of person. And as for the whole you need to stop reproducing thing, that's just a whole other level of insanity. Let's continue. Just because he's rich and has a nice personality doesn't mean his genes deserve to be passed to another generation. Genes are very tricky and will sometimes fuck you up. I see women thinking their beauty will come out in their children, but no, they all come out with daddies. Ugly ass face, and now you have little gremlins running around about the house. You know, I seem to remember another group of people that was very concerned with the passing on of genes and preventing certain genes from being passed on. You know, the name escapes me. I don't know who could have possibly ever thought of such a horrendous idea. You do have to wonder. Men are always the ugly ones. When a girl is ugly, 9 times out of 10, she got it from her daddy. Then when she's growing older and looks like a toe, you'll be trying to convince her to love herself and ignore the haters, while you look like a hot supermodel. Some of these ugly broke men will be moving mad with all confidence because patriarchy has convinced them their looks don't matter. That's an absolute lie. Absolute lie. Almost everyone, to a degree, is concerned with their appearance, okay? Some people are more aware of it than others, and some people have just the right amount of confidence. Others have no confidence, and others yet have unwarranted amounts of confidence. It just really depends on the individual, and that personality aspect can overcome any sort of, physical impurities, if you will. But because that's what this person sounds like. It has to end because I'm tired of seeing pretty women with ugly-ass families. Nah, money be fine, Bobo. Who talks like that? Nah, fam, you're rich, but you're still ugly. Girls carry that mentality and marry rich, ugly men. And then family portraits, they'll be looking like a human among roads. Among roads? Since everyone inherited daddy's defective-ass genes, do better, don't date ugly. Again, it's like one of those things that you read and you're like, is this person genuine? Are they serious? I also am curious what they look like, because if their avatar is any indication, they're obviously not model material themselves, and that's always the way that this stuff usually goes. I guess we could take a quick look here and just see what. Hopefully they haven't posted anything that I can't portray on stream, or else we're going to be in trouble. Wait, let's see. So much has happened this past few days. I'm somewhat of a celebrity. Appeared on Linda KG. Received death and rape threats via DM. How does that make you a celebrity? People are searching to find my face, debating my age, telling me an inspiration. Can't even keep up. All because of that thread. Well, of course people are going to be like, hey, what do you look like? Because it's guaranteed that you're probably just as bad, if not worse, than the people you're making fun of. If a baby's ugly, it's fucked for the rest of its life. I just think it's ironic because, this person has the social justice language, and yet here they are basically, they're just replacing things like race and gender when it comes to genes with appearance. So they're really doing the same thing that they claim is evil when somebody else does it. This has to be a parody. This reminds me of Garbage Pail Kids when they had a prison for ugly people. Put the ugly people in camps and send them to the showers. And that's what it pretty much sounds like. It's just disturbing behavior. I think that was the last. That was the last thing that I had. Let's see. Let me just see real quick, okay? If I can find something about that Star Wars reaction thing, controversy that people created. Let's see. Star Wars viral trailer reaction inspires fans and trolls. I don't want to watch the stupid thing. I just want to hear internet defends one. Oh boy, Mary Sue. So I'm sure we're in for an absolute ridiculous post then if this is the case. Let me pull this back up. All right, so internet rallying to defend a fan's tearful reaction to The Rise of Skywalker is what fandom is all about. That's how we're going to win, not by fighting what we hate, by saving what we love. Have we really gotten to the point where we can't laugh about something cringy? Star Wars Celebration was a, celebration of fan culture. There were no reports of evil debates or terrible fanboys. Actors who'd been bullied on social media, like Kelly Marie Tran and Ahmed Best, both got standing ovations and the crowd chanting their names. It was a moment of love, not hate. And isn't that what Star Wars is all about? Not quite. I don't think that's what Star Wars is about. Online, the love continued as the Star Wars fandom and other geeks rallied to the defense of Eric Butts, a YouTuber whose emotional response to the teaser for The Rise of Skywalker went viral. Hey you, yes you, New York Comic Con. Yes you who cries over a Star Wars trailer, who wishes the Avengers were real, who stays up late reading comic books. You're great, and when someone tries to make you feel less than that, remember there's a community of geeks who are with you. Keep doing your thing. Because as much as I can't stand stupid Chong, this is a I'm blocked. I forgot about that. Let me, I can't open another incognito. Shit. Well, do I need to be signed in anymore? I don't think I do. Let me sign out. No, do I want to sign? I might need that still. Well, fuck it. Oh, I could play it through this one probably. Here we go.
Doing. Sorry about that. I'm going to turn this puppy up.
All right, here we go.
And let's do this.
There's one where the soy boy reacts to the Holocaust. Yeah, there were some pretty interesting memes off of that. I mean, come on, this is just like overblown.
1,000 generations living.
Why did he make that sound when she grabbed the lightsaber?
This is your fight.
It's like, ooh. I bet you he's probably like, I wish she grabbed my lightsaber. It's just a desert man.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I mean, am I crazy, or does this movie, like, does it not even look good? Especially that part right there, so corny looking.
No fucking way.
Soy Wars, The Last Manlet. Come on. Look, I don't... Fuck this. I've had enough. I don't believe this for a second. At all. Okay? People are defending this as though this is like, oh, it's just a real moment of raw emotion. Bullshit. He recorded it. You can't have... When you know a camera is on you, there's always going to be that thought in your mind, okay? It's just like the natural inclination to play it up for the camera, to know that the camera's watching you. You're always going to act different. That's why things like reality TV are never genuine, because they know the cameras are watching them. Of course they're gonna, their ego's gonna puff up, they're gonna act stupid, they're gonna act like they're hot shit, or they're going to be overly dramatic, which is exactly what happens here. Who is believing that this is a genuine reaction? I don't think it's wrong, obviously, to be passionate about things that you enjoy, but why would you... This is like the world that we've created, where people record these things for attention. Like, if you had this moment, you're just watching the trailer in your room alone by yourself or with your friend or girlfriend or whatever, and then you got a little teary-eyed or whatever, fine, okay, no harm, like no big deal, nobody would care, nobody would know about it. But when you record it for the entire internet and then put it out and then only accept one type of reaction to it, that's just entitlement beyond belief, okay? If you're going to record something, you're going to share with the internet, you can't, excuse me, like yawning mid-sentence here. Let a little soy hiccup myself. It's rubbing off, help. You can't fucking, you can't flip out when people don't agree with you or when people don't approve of what you've done here. This is just silly. And people always want to champion everything stupid, like everything cringy or everything that would previously be laughed at or, you know, joked about or mocked at. Now it suddenly needs to be championed as a social issue. You know, we have to prop these people up. Meanwhile, you know, 10, 15, 20 years ago, the very same people championing these fucking people as though they're so oppressed would be the ones making fun of them. And this is just their way to absolve themselves of any past guilt for their problematic pasts, where they take part in the behavior that they're now accusing everybody else of. That's how I look at this. You can call me cynical or whatever, but I don't believe any of this is genuine. Nobody looks at this video and sees a genuine moment. They're blinded by their crusades. I don't think this is a big deal at all, but I don't think it's something that needs to be shared. It's, if you want to have your little emotional reaction to your movie, you have that, but it's personal. This is not even a discussion. This isn't even somebody sharing their passion with words. It's just a bunch of blubbering on video. What does that do for me? What message does that send? Nothing. I don't get anything out of it other than, whoa, that's why would you record this? Why would you play this back on your video editor and think, hey, I'm going to upload this today? Who thinks that's a good idea? But that's the world we're in, where like now you could do anything that doesn't even require any effort of any kind, and you can get praise for it. It's a no-effort world, and I just want to be a no-effort girl. That's the way it's got to be. So yeah, that's my take. I don't think it's wrong to be passionate. I think that this person here, her comment, Star Wars and superhero movie obsession culture has revealed a whole new population of undateable men. Might be worse than men who wear cargo shirts. It's kind of funny. I don't think I would agree with it 100% because, like, obviously hobbies don't necessarily correlate to whether or not somebody's dateable. There may be some exceptions there. Maybe if you're a brony, you'll have a little bit of a tougher time getting a date. Of course, if you're a brony, you're probably gay, so maybe you'll be able to find another brony who could just pony on with you. But you see what I'm getting at. When you throw in the clarifying word of obsession, that might be a little bit different, because anything that is an obsession can interfere with your real life. So it wouldn't be just, okay, Star Wars and superhero movie obsession. It'd be any kind of obsession that you have may not be a healthy thing if taken to, an obsessive degree, because that's why it's called an obsession. It's a problem. Obsessions usually aren't seen as a positive. So yeah, I do think to get mad at something like this too is stupid, because this is just one lady's dumb opinion, right? If you are looking for a date and you're into that stuff, why would you look here? Why would you want somebody who doesn't accept your hobbies? You can't. What are you going to do? Beat them into accepting it? Like, you just beat them over the head? That's what these people want to do, though. They want to force everybody to react and think about things the same exact way that they do. I just don't understand how we've come to the point where this is viewed as the most genuine thing that's ever been shared. And again, I don't believe for a moment that the people defending it actually believe it's genuine. I think they just want to portray it as such, so they have a social cause to champion and somebody to defend. It makes it look like they're sticking up for the underdog, so they can pretend that they're good people on social media. That's pretty much what this boils down to, and it happens time and time again. I mean, it's even gone as far as reaching Mark Hamill, the the actor. Why anyone would ridicule someone so passionate and clearly enjoying what he's seeing is beyond me. How about because it's phony? How about because they took the time to record this and post it for the entire world to potentially see, and then you expect billions of people to all think about it the same exact way? That's just never going to be reality. But then, rather than, acknowledging that, it gets to the point where he actually replies to it. Hi, Eric, thanks for sharing your amazing reaction to this trailer. First of all, reaction videos are stupid in general. Like, I get in a sense that even, for example, something like my stream, you could argue it's a reaction thing, but I'd like to think that I try to add a little substance to it, try to throw in some ideas that maybe might resonate or have some value to somebody. But when it comes to like just straight up reaction videos where somebody will say watch a music video or watch a movie trailer, I just don't understand the appeal to those, because I can watch a trailer myself or a music video myself and have my own reaction to it. I don't really care what somebody else thinks about it. That doesn't really phase how I feel about it. If it's like a review or something, I'm still not much for reviews, because at the end it's my opinion that matters. Maybe I'm just a little self-centered like that, but it's my opinion that matters above all. I don't care what some reviewer wrote, but at least I understand what a reviewer is trying to accomplish. They're trying to point out, the pros and cons, the flaws and positives of what it is that they've watched. But a reaction video is nothing but just like, ooh, I thought it was so cool. Or in this case, some dude just making weird monkey noises to the camera. It just doesn't appeal to me. I guess there's a market out there for it, but I'm not there. I'm just not there. It was inspiring to see you transported with joy. Does that even make sense? In anticipation of 9, makes what we do seem all the more worthwhile. I mean, I guess I get an actor reacting to somebody who they think is sharing a genuine moment of excitement because that's something that they worked on. But I still don't think I would be fooled into believing that it was real. I remember vividly when Eric Butts posted his Rogue One trailer reaction videos. Seeing his utter joy remains one of my favorite memories from being involved with that movie. The passion of fans like Eric is exactly why we make movies. Haters can fuck off and die. All over. Is this real life? It's like, fuck off and die over a differing opinion on a movie trailer, or on somebody's, and not even the trailer itself, on somebody's reaction to a movie trailer. That seems proportional, right? I mean, that's a totally fine way to look at this. Going like an ape is unappealing, but such is modern man. Yeah, it's a little strange. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not sitting here pretending that nothing I've cared about, entertainment wise, has moved me emotionally, because it has. But it would never occur to me to try to. First of all, I think what makes it not genuine is the fact that it's a calculated maneuver. You said, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to watch this, and I'm going to record my reaction to it. So that right there sets up a degree of separation from somebody who's just watching it in their free time and is going to feel whatever it is that they genuinely feel in the moment. Like, that right there alone is a setup to differentiate. But these are the people that are providing your entertainment. Somebody that's like, if you don't like the fact that I made this movie, or you don't like the way that the passion of fans are, you can die. I wouldn't support these crap ass movies just based on that. You're a psycho. Why would I care about anything you do or say ever again? It's like, okay, here we go. Look. It hurts that a guy was so mocked for expressing an emotional response to something, but it's heartening to see such a response in his defense. Men shouldn't feel like being openly emotional will lead to mockery. This is how we get a culture of toxic masculinity. I knew that they would slip that in there, and the funny thing about it is that they're defending the most shallow emotional response that a man could possibly show. I mean, this is a movie trailer. It's not a guy who, had his heart broken or lost a loved one or experienced some sort of trauma. It's just a guy expressing emotion for something that he claims made him so happy he just couldn't control his ape-like reaction. And then you have guys that will express real concerns. And maybe some of those concerns are aimed towards women that they've dealt with in their lives. And then those men who express those emotions are told they're expressing their emotions incorrectly. They're being hateful. They're being toxic. So none of this is really about the freedom of a man to express his emotions. And I think even the guys that are taking part in the mockery of this guy would differentiate, and this is generalized, of course, would differentiate between somebody who is showing a genuine emotional response to something that they've experienced versus a corporate sheep who has been so warped by marketing consumerism that he feels the need to blubber on video. I don't think those are the same things at all. This is absurd. Completely and utterly absurd. We're really to the point where we're just championing stupidity. If this dude didn't put this up, nothing would have happened. If it didn't go viral, nothing would have happened. It would have just been another meaningless moment in the life of a person that nobody would really be aware of. But they always have to prop it up and explode it into something much larger than it actually is. Oh no, a few people said something that wasn't kind online out of the millions or billions that are going to see it. And for the majority, they're probably going to praise it because they just want to feel like they're good people. They want to jump on that bandwagon and blindly praise things so they could feel like, oh, I did something nice today for some stranger that I'll never know. And it doesn't really matter, but it makes me feel like a good person. So that's what really matters, right? It accomplishes nothing. Shills need to get the fuck out. Yeah, come on. Like, what of value is a reaction video like this adding? He doesn't even really talk. I mean, maybe he talks some in the beginning of the video. I think it's longer. But this whole just like, give me a box of tissues. Why? It's really... I think it just goes to show how pathetic things really are. Can someone explain what an influencer is in a way that doesn't make me weep for humanity? People who are mad because other people like a thing are weird. I don't think that people are mad about it. I think they're just saying it's strange. I think they're just saying this is kind of funny. Like, you've seen all the memes that have come out of it. People are making a joke about it. They're not like, oh, this guy should croak like the fucking guy who was involved in making the movie, who thinks that anybody who doesn't ass kiss the reaction video deserves death. It's crazy. It's crazy how they project these intense feelings towards others because they can't just admit that they're the ones that feel that way about things. I'm mad when people like something that teaches extremely harmful stuff, not just problematic stuff, everything is, but really bad stuff. Like if the Starship Troopers book, not movie, is suddenly a bestseller, I'm going to be mad about it. I'll try not to insult readers over it, though. See, that's absurdity to me. It's like, just because people enjoy a piece of fiction, it doesn't mean they're going to adapt their ideology to whatever you can infer is in that piece of fiction. This is what drives me nuts. It's like, we've come to a point where people can't even differentiate fiction from reality. It's like it's all the same to them. There's no separation anymore. If a cartoon character does something quote-unquote problematic, they need to be called out. The creator needs to have their job taken from them. We need to hang them on the the tree of social justice so that they never do anything problematic ever again. And as usual, they're always the arbiter of what is and is not problematic and how to properly portray everything. It's like, no, you can't posture about things like diversity and then say there's only one right way to portray things in fiction. That's not how that works. Of course, it is how it works for people that are so dumb they don't even realize what it is that they're talking about. All right, I think that's a good. I think that's a good ending spot. I think Star Wars needs to go away. I think these stupid, cringy, defend at any cost fanboys need to just stop and realize that even if you love something, that doesn't mean there's no fault with it. And this whole reaction video trend where people want to actually believe that, these people that just like explode on camera in emotion are always being genuine is absolute trash, absolute lies. I don't know how you can believe that. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate the donations. I'm actually in the process of saving up for a new laptop because mine kind of crapped the bed, and I like to use it for writing and things like that. So any donations I get are kind of going towards that. So I do appreciate any help there. As always, appreciate the viewership, appreciate the comments and the sharing of anything that I've done. And yeah, that's going to be enough of my shilling. If you haven't, I don't know if you use DLive, but go over to dlive.tv/scratchpoint and follow there. I'm going to keep up this multi-streaming thing for a while, so you obviously will be able to catch it on YouTube as well. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time around.